Hi, and welcome to my video on how we would fabricate any type of rock feature that we would be commissioned to build. Regardless of how small or how large the rock project would be, we would always choose to build the rock feature using the different stock of our molded rock panels like you see in our yard in this clip. For the purposes of this video, I will detail the processes of cutting, seaming, texturing, and staining the rock to its completion. In this video of a hands-on class, we create this 5-piece interlocking rock water feature and this bubbler rock which was being produced for a pondless waterfall project. Now going back to the interlocking 5-piece water feature, in this clip we have 3 of the 5 pieces already sitting on the floor in preparation for the class. First, we have the generic pond/reservoir that we casted in a plywood form to provide a constant height or water level for the pond, with the mindset that the installed rock would completely hide the generic pond exposure. The second rock is the waterfall rock, which is 66 inches wide and 54 inches in height and has a fall in this area. This is a side view drawing of the lower pond and the waterfall rock, which is on the right. Next, you can see that the waterfall rock has an upper pond to feed the waterfall, where the next drawing shows the pump and pipe to feed the pond. Finally, a drawing to show the cover rock that's going to hide the upper pipe coming up and over into the upper pond. The third rock is the middle front rock that is designed to cover the generic pond and frankly just boulderize the feature in general. So now we've covered our prep for the hands-on class to where the class still needs to fabricate the 4th and 5th rock to complete the feature. Now in this clip I wanted to point out that when we made these 2 rocks, we made male interlocking flanges only, which would mean that rocks 4 and 5 would need female interlocking flanges on both sides of each rock. I want to detail the male and female interlocking flanges just a little bit more. Let's begin where we see just an overview of the generic pond being placed. Next we see the overview of the 1-piece waterfall rock that's also been placed in the pond. And I want you to notice the 2 male interlocking flanges on this rock. Next, we see the placement of the front middle rock, which again has 2 male interlocking flanges on both sides of the rock. Next, we see the placement of rock 4 and 5, which have female flanges that are interlocking on both sides of each rock. In this clip, Marcos is making a cardboard template for the first panel for rock number 4. We prefer to utilize cardboard so we can make a cut-to-fit template because sometimes a mistake is made in obtaining the perfect fit, and if that happens, you just get another piece of cardboard instead of wasting a good rock panel. Cardboard is free and throwing away an incorrect cut piece is no big deal. In this clip, he's marking the template onto the rock panel so he can get the perfect cut. Next, he has taken the panel outside to make the cuts without dusting the whole shop. In this clip, we see that the guys have made progress in fitting together the rock panel assemblies for rock number 4 and 5. Once they have all the panels cut and fitted just right, they will drill holes in the panels to be able to wire together all the individual pieces as one single formation, so that they don't wiggle or move during the seaming process. What you're not seeing on the video is after they've drilled all the holes needed, they take all the panels outside and wash them, and then let them dry. Then they wire together the panels for seaming, as we want a clean and dust-free panels to seam them together where we have the assurance of a good bond. Okay, for the moment, we're going to leave this waterfall project and we're going to go outside to the guys who are cutting the panels to fabricate the bubbler rock. In this clip, Bill had just finished cutting the 3rd panel of the bubbler rock panel assembly, which turned out to be a total of 6 cut panels, 5 panels for the sides and 1 panel for the top. That would turn out to be 30 inches by 30 inches on the base and be about 50 inches in height. In this clip, the guys are just finishing the panel assembly by drilling the holes in the panels and baling wire them, tying them together so that they can wash this thing off and get it in the shop and we'll mud it. In this clip, the guys are just applying a bonding agent prior to the seaming process, and we usually let this bonding agent dry. In these next clips, we are seaming together the rock panels for rocks number 4 and 5 with our fiber mixture. Rocks 4 and 5 have had the top panels removed so that we could seam together the panels from the inside so as not to mud over the molded rock image that's on the outside of the rock. Let me better detail the seaming process of joining two panels together. And let me be frank, we can do one of two things. We can mud the seam on the inside of the rock, or we can mud the seam on the outside of the rock. If we mud it on the outside of the rock, we're covering over molded rock texture, which God has made and we've just copied. We're not trying to make the look, it's already there. So seaming on the inside relieves us of covering over that God-given image. In this overview drawing, we see panel A on the left side and panel B on the right side, and they're ready to be seamed together. To properly seam two panels together, we need to apply the fiber mixture to cover or to lap over 3 inches on both sides of the seam. At the actual seam, we place the fiber mixture at 1 inch thickness, and then we will taper out to left and right to 0 on both sides of the seam, which means we'd have at least 6 inches of coverage depending on how much gap we have between each panel. In the case of rock 4 and 5, which are about 18 inches in height, we'd have a seam that was a square foot and a half of vertical seam. But mudding the seams on the inside, we preserve the molded rock image on the outside. In the case of seaming the bubbler rock, we are demonstrating seaming the rock on the outside. Now keep in mind, I never stated we don't seam on the outside ever. I just stated my preference of doing so on the inside, and why. In my many decades of seaming panels, I would suggest that 70% of the time we can easily seam on the inside over seaming on the outside and create a better looking rock. We're going to do this bubbler, and at the end of this video, you're going to say, hey, it looks good. I mean, it will look good. It's just better to use molded rock image over hand manipulated images that we make by hand. In this clip, the seaming joints have dried overnight, and the guys are just now knocking down the rough spots in prep of texturing the seams where needed. In this clip, we're applying a bonding agent in preparation of applying a texture coat to the seam areas. Once the texture has dried, we would knock it down, and then we would move into the staining phase of this process to complete the rock. In this clip, Skylar has started to stain the bubbler rock by randomly spraying on different colors. Here he's applying a tan skim coat, and there's more colors that we put on, but for the sake of this video, I wanted to show you that we were doing some other things as well. We hung, seamed, textured, and stained 2 different styles of stacked stone panels. We also made this river rock panel assembly. We took apart this 8-piece interlocking spa surround to stain during a class using a stain table jig that we created for fast and easy staining. Next, we wanted to demonstrate that this interlocking spa surround could be installed in under 5 minutes without the need of any tools, fasteners, or seaming materials whatsoever. We also went out to a project where we were building a waterfall to show more realistic hands-on opportunities. And this concludes my video on building rock features using molded rock panels. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. In my next video, I'll be seaming some panels together in a much better step-by-step video. Thanks, and see you later. Bye.